Jockers, and today we're talking about 10 hidden sources of sugar that you didn't know about that may be in your diet. We know that the average American consumes 150 to 170 pounds of sugar every single year. That's unbelievable. I mean, I'm 160 pounds, so the average American is consuming about my body size in sugar every single year. That equates to 14 tablespoons of sugar every single day. 14 tablespoons, that's unbelievable. And so most people think, well, there's no way I consume that much sugar, because it's not like we're just pouring sugar down our mouth or just taking tablespoons of sugar and shoveling it in, but we're finding it in all different types of hidden food sources. I'm gonna unveil those today. We're gonna go through that. And so if you don't know me, my name's Dr. David Jockers. I am a doctor of natural medicine. I speak all around the country. I have a clinic it's called Exodus Health Center in Kennesaw, Georgia. And I have a specialty in the ketogenic diet, brain health, energy, and digestion. This is my beautiful wife, Angel, my little boys, David and Joshua right there. And let's jump into this topic. So many of us have experienced a sugar addiction. I know for myself, very much so, for a good portion of my life. And here's why we develop the sugar addiction. When we eat sugar, sugar stimulates dopamine, and dopamine is a neurotransmitter that lets us have pleasure. It's a reward neurotransmitter. It says, good job, and gives us pleasure. And when that happens, also, when blood sugar goes up, we have a hormone called insulin that comes out. And insulin is really a superhero hormone, because if blood sugar stays elevated in the body, in the bloodstream, it will combine to major proteins. It'll combine to enzymes, and it'll create something called advanced glycolytic enzymes, or AGEs. Those AGEs do exactly what that acronym is. They age you, they damage tissue, they cause major free radical stress in your body and oxidative damage, and definitely bad for all of our tissues. And so insulin comes out to save the tissues. It takes sugar out of the bloodstream and puts it into the muscles and the liver and the fat cells. So now our blood sugars drop. So blood sugar goes down. So now our body craves sugar. And again, we have hunger, we have cravings, so we go ahead, we consume more sugar, then we eat sugar again, and we just have this continuous cycle. And this cycle is what's going to create inflammation in our body. So we've got to really address this. Insulin, not only is it obviously get the sugar out of the bloodstream, it's very, very important, but if insulin is high, it's going to cause inflammation in our body. Insulin is pro-inflammatory, so it helps trigger inflammatory pathways. It reduces our liver's ability to detoxify effectively. So it's very important that we keep insulin down and under control. It also raises up blood pressure, causes vasoconstriction. It also increases particularly small LDL particles. So when we look at cholesterol, we have LDL, the so-called bad cholesterol, and HDL, the so-called good cholesterol. Well, within LDL, again, that's the bad cholesterol, there are two subtypes. There's multiple subtypes, but in particular, there are large, buoyant LDL cholesterol, and there are small, dense LDL cholesterol. Large, buoyant LDL cholesterol have more fat-soluble antioxidants like vitamin A and vitamin E. They're less prone to oxidation, whereas the small, dense, much more prone to oxidation and atherosclerosis. So what does high insulin do? It promotes the development of small, dense, the more inflammatory cholesterol, the ones that are more susceptible to oxidation, and it reduces our HDL, the good cholesterol. So not where we want to be. It also increases triglyceride formation. Also, high insulin will cause imbalances in our neurotransmitters, rising up certain neurotransmitters that are typically more excitatory and reducing neurotransmitters that are more calming, like serotonin and GABA. It will also, again, cause oxidative stress and free radical damage. For men, it will increase estrogen, and for women, it will increase testosterone. There's a condition called PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's associated with high circulating insulin in women. So that's a big factor. With estrogen, high estrogen in men, we call that andropause, where men basically lose their libido. They start to gain more belly fat. even some breast tissue, they can start to form with this elevated estrogen. So we got to keep insulin down and under control. That is so critical with this. And of course, the link of sugar and inflammation. Basically, sugar triggering inflammation will affect every single part of our body. So our brain, it's going to link to dementia as well as Alzheimer's. In fact, Alzheimer's is called type 3 diabetes because we know it's related to insulin resistance in the brain. So very important we understand that. It damages our skin, acne, eczema, rosacea, different issues like that can all be associated with sugar, chronic sugar, high blood sugar, and chronic inflammation. Damages the kidneys. You know, this is a big issue that people with diabetics really deal with is kidney problems. High blood sugar and high insulin will cause damage to our kidneys, which can obviously cause a lot of different problems in our body. It can cause joint pain. We talked about some of the issues with estrogen, progesterone going on with men and women, or estrogen, testosterone. So it really affects every part of our body, and these are the major organs that are affected the most. So where are these hidden sources of sugar? Well, they're all around us in what's called so-called healthy foods. For example, the first one I'm going to talk about is on the top left, and that's smoothies. And most of us think, okay, smoothies are great. In fact, I'm a huge proponent of smoothies. However, when I show you this picture here, what I'm really referring to are smoothies that you would get at kind of your typical smoothie shops, like, for example, the chain Smoothie King. In fact, I used to work there when I was about 19, 20 years old. I worked there for a summer, and the main drink that they have is called Angel Food. That's like their top seller. Angel Food sells the most. They've got strawberries and bananas and stuff like that in there. In a 20-ounce Angel Food, there is 75 grams of sugar. 75 grams. I mean, you think about that. That right there is basically 4 to 4.5 tablespoons of sugar right in a 20-ounce Angel Food. So unbelievable. And a lot of people will get the 32-ounce, the larger size, which obviously has almost twice as much sugar as the 20-ounce. The average smoothie there would have 40 to 80 grams of sugar. So if you go into a smoothie shop to get a smoothie, you are getting several tablespoons of sugar right there into your system. I don't recommend that. Instead, what would be better would be to make your own smoothie at home using coconut milk, maybe throw an avocado in there, make more like a pudding. You want to make sure you've got good fats. Coconut oil, MCT oil can be really good. We talked about avocados in there. Use some good high quality protein like our bone broth protein that you can find on drjockers.com, or our gut healing protein. Both of those are very low carb and very, very good for the body. So good protein. You want to make sure you've got good fats in there. If you do berries, berries are low in sugar, high in nutrients, but do about a quarter cup. So you don't want to do a tremendous amount. You want to do about a quarter cup. At Smoothie King and different smoothie shops, they actually have added sugar to the berries. So that when you do berries, they're not even fresh. They're actually in a corn syrup base, basically a corn syrup based syrup that they come out with. And so that's loaded with sugar. Right here, the number 2 is yogurt. And most yogurts out there, any sort of flavored yogurt, that's going to be typically 25 to 35 grams of sugar in a flavored yogurt. Even coconut yogurt, you got to watch out for that too. Even the Greek yogurts, which are marketed as being very, very healthy, will have 69 grams of sugar as well. So definitely I would recommend sticking with the unsweetened. I'm a big fan of unsweetened, either grass-fed yogurt if you do dairy okay, or do a coconut yogurt. They've got So Delicious unsweetened vanilla coconut yogurt that tastes good. And you can definitely do that. And that's very low sugar. Protein bars. So most protein bars and energy bars on the market are going to have anywhere from 10 to 30 grams of sugar. Most of it's in the form of dates or honey or agave or something along those lines, which most people think is healthy because they're like, okay, dates, that's a fruit, but it's just way too much sugar. So I'd recommend staying away from all of the energy bars, all of those typical protein bars that are on the market. One type of bar that I'm okay with is the bulletproof bars, which are very low carb. They're made with cashews, sweetened with stevia. They've got coconut oil. They've got XCT oil, which helps turn into ketones, and collagen protein in there as well, bulletproof bars. So look out for those. Okay, next one is ketchup and barbecue sauce. And believe it or not, ketchup and barbecue sauce, that basically in 2 tablespoons of ketchup, which is basically what most people are using when they do use it, there's 9 to 10 grams of sugar. Barbecue sauce, even more, 12 to 15 grams of sugar. So I would recommend staying away from that. And that also goes into things like beef jerky. A lot of people on a paleo diet or even a ketogenic diet will do beef jerky, but oftentimes the beef jerky has some sort of a sugary sauce on it. So you got to watch out for that. How about juices? Well, you look at Tropicana orange juice, and they market it as having 110% of your recommended daily allowance of vitamin C. So it does have vitamin C. Unfortunately, 1 cup also has 22 grams of sugar. So it's going to spike up your blood sugar. You want to stay away from that. There's a lot of green juices that are out there, like Odwalla green juice, that's marketed as being really healthy. But if you look at the first ingredient, it's like apple juice or pear juice, loaded with sugar. Stay away from those types of things. Okay, how about salad dressings? Now, I recommend making your own because most salad dressings, 10 to 12 grams in 2 tablespoons of salad dressings. And most of the time it's from high fructose corn syrup or some sort of really, really bad sugar alternative. So much better to make your own. If you're going out to a restaurant, better to tell them to hold the salad, bring out lemons, and maybe they have olive oil or something along those lines that you can put on there as well. But definitely hold the dressing. You can make your own easily with olive oil or avocado oil or even XCT or MCT oil works good with lemon, lime, or apple cider vinegar, as well as herbs. So definitely want to do that. How about sauces? You know, most sauces that are out there that you can buy or that you'll get at a restaurant are loaded with sugar. In fact, if you see anything that says glazed, if it says like glazed duck or glazed chicken, glazed is another word for sugar. So they have basically a sugar coating on it. So stay away from that. How about bread? We know that 2 slices of whole wheat bread, and we're told whole wheat bread is the way to go. 2 slices will raise your blood sugar more than 2 tablespoons of sugar itself. So we want to stay away from the bread. I recommend going grain-free, low-carb, dried fruit, loaded with sugar. In fact, craisins, which I remember when I was a kid, craisins, we all thought that was super healthy because it's like a cranberry raisin. You got it, cranberries are healthy, raisins are healthy. It must be even better when they're combined. 1/4 of a cup, 29 grams of sugar. Dried fruit is like concentrated sugar, so you want to stay away from that. And then nut butters. A lot of nut butters have added sugar, so look for a nut butter that doesn't, and ideally more of a raw nut butter is typically better than the roasted. So that's what you're going to be looking for there. So definitely stay away from these. These are all marketed as healthy things, right? Salad dressings and whole wheat bread, dried fruit. You know, a lot of people eat granola, for example, with raisins in it. All these things are marketed for being healthy, yet they're loaded with sugar. So be sure to look out for that. And really 3 big steps to a healing diet. This is what I teach, is putting my people on a healing diet so their body can really use the food as biological information to reprogram the cells and the DNA to heal. And one of the big first steps is reducing sugar and grains. We talked about the bread. Really, all grains are going to elevate sugar, so we want to stay away from them. So stay off of those, get the sugar out like we were talking about, adding in more good fats and getting rid of the bad fats. So we want a lot of things like coconut oil, avocados, olives, olive oil, MCT oil, grass-fed butter, all really good. We want to change the meat that we eat. We want to get rid of any sort of grain-fed, conventionally raised animal products, and we load it up with good grass-fed beef, wild-caught fish, lamb, organic chicken, turkey, bison, so different wild game like that, elk, duck, all that kind of stuff, really, really good. And those are 3 big steps to a healing diet. On top of that, we want to add in a lot of herbs, things like basil, oregano, thyme, lots of colors, so bell peppers and cucumbers, celery, and all kinds of good stuff like that, radishes. These are all nutrient-dense foods that are going to help our body to heal more effectively. And, you know, if you want more information on really how to apply a low-carb diet, how to get off the sugar, you can check out our sugar detox program, which walks you through a 30-day transformational experience to replace the foods that are high in sugar that were in your diet with foods that are low in carbs and taste amazing. This has a meal plan, recipe guide, replacement food list, video instruction, really everything that you need to make that transition. That's our sugar detox program. And if you want to go more advanced, we actually have a program that teaches you to not use sugar as energy, but instead to use ketones, or a breakdown product of fatty acids, as your primary energy source. It's called our Navigating the Ketogenic Diet e-course, and you can find that on drjockers.com under the programs header. So these programs will really help you take the next step in your health journey. And I hope you got a lot out of today's presentation, and you know now to stay away from these common yet often unknown sources of sugar that most people are consuming. Most people that think they're healthy are consuming all of these types of things. And so I hope you got a lot out of that, and we will see you on a future presentation. Bye-bye.